Listen to me very carefully. What I'm about to reveal has been hidden in the ancient Torah scrolls for over 3,000 years, and it explains why your wealth is being blocked right now at this very moment, without you even knowing it. There is an invisible wall between you and the abundance that is rightfully yours, not because you're unlucky, not because you're not working hard enough, but because of an ancient spiritual warning that 99% of people violate every single day. The rabbis of old called it the gate of closed blessings. And if you don't understand what's blocking this gate, you will work your entire life and never experience true prosperity. I've seen billionaires lose everything because they ignored this warning, and I've watched struggling families become wealthy within months once they understood this ancient truth. Today I'm going to show you exactly what's blocking your wealth, and more importantly, how to remove that block forever. Before we continue, I must ask you something from the depths of your soul. What terrifies you the most about your financial future? Is it the fear that no matter how hard you try, abundance will always slip through your fingers? Is it the nightmare of watching others prosper while you remain stuck? Or is it the deeper fear that perhaps you're not meant to be wealthy, that somehow the universe has forgotten you? Hold that feeling, because that fear is not random, it's a spiritual signal, and today, we decode it. If you're here, it's not by accident. The divine has guided you to this message. Subscribe to this channel and join our sacred community of seekers who are breaking through spiritual blocks and stepping into their destined abundance. Together, we rise. Let me take you back 3,000 years to the Temple of Solomon. In the inner chambers, there was a teaching so powerful, so dangerous, that only the high priests were allowed to study it. It was written in the book of Deuteronomy, hidden in plain sight. Beware lest there be a base thought in your heart. The ancient rabbis understood something that modern society has completely forgotten. They knew that there exists a spiritual force called makshava ra'ah, the corrupted thought. Not just any negative thought, but a specific type of thinking pattern that creates an invisible barrier between your soul and the flow of divine abundance. In the mystical tradition of Kabbalah, they teach that wealth flows from the heavenly realm of chesed, divine kindness and expansion. But there is a gate, a checkpoint, between this realm and our physical world. The Torah calls it Sha'ar HaBrashot, the gate of blessings, and this gate can be locked, sealed, closed tight. The rabbis discovered that when a person carries this base thought in their heart, the gate slams shut. The flow stops, not because God is punishing you, but because you have unknowingly activated an ancient spiritual law that blocks reception. Here is the truth that will shake your understanding. The block is not external, it's not the economy, it's not your job, it's not even your circumstances. The block is a thought pattern embedded so deeply in your subconscious that you've been living with it your entire life without knowing it existed. The Torah reveals this in Deuteronomy 15:9. It speaks of Belial, a worthless base thought. The ancient Hebrew literally translates to without rising or that which cannot ascend. This is a thought that keeps you trapped at a low frequency, unable to rise into the realm where wealth exists. What is this thought? It's the hidden belief that you are separate from abundance, that wealth is for other people, that you must struggle to survive, that money is scarce and you must fight for every penny. These thoughts create a vibrational barrier. In Kabbalah, we call this klipot, spiritual shells or husks that cover the light of prosperity and prevent it from reaching you. Every time you think, I can't afford this, you strengthen the shell. Every time you look at a wealthy person with envy or judgment, you thicken the barrier. Every time you doubt your worthiness, you add another lock to the gate of blessings. The Zohar, the foundational text of Jewish mysticism, teaches us something extraordinary. Machshava poelet, thought creates reality. Not metaphorically, literally. Your thoughts are not passive observations, they are creative forces that shape the quantum field of possibility around you. The ancient Kabbalists understood what quantum physics is only now beginning to prove, that consciousness collapses probability waves into physical manifestation. When you hold a base thought about money, you are literally collapsing the field of infinite abundance into a narrow tunnel of scarcity. There is a teaching in the Talmud, Lefum Tsa'ara Agra, according to the suffering is the reward, but this has been tragically misunderstood. The rabbis were not saying you must suffer to earn reward. They were revealing a spiritual law. The intensity of your internal struggle creates the measure of your external blessing, but only if you transform that struggle into elevated consciousness. The wealthy understand this instinctively. Even if they don't know the Hebrew words, they think differently. They operate from a mindset of expansion, not contraction, of possibility, not limitation, of deserving, not begging. The ancient rabbis identified 3 specific blocks that keep the gate of blessings closed. Wall 1. Ayin Ra, the evil eye of self-judgment. This is the most dangerous one. It's when you look at yourself and declare, I am not enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough. This thought sends a signal into the spiritual realm that you are rejecting your own divine image. And if you reject yourself, how can heaven send you abundance? The universe cannot give you what you refuse to receive. Wall 2. Kaina, envy and comparison. Every time you compare yourself to others and feel lack, you activate the energy of kina. This creates what Kabbalah calls din, harsh judgment and constriction. The flow of chesed, abundance, cannot penetrate the barrier of din. You must celebrate others' success as proof that abundance is real and available. Their wealth is not taking from you, it's showing you what's possible. Wall 3. Yush, spiritual despair. This is the deadly whisper that says, it's too late for me, that your time has passed, that you're too old, too broke, too far behind. Yush is the ultimate block because it's a declaration that you've given up on the divine plan for your life. And when you give up, heaven steps back and honors your choice. Now here is the key that unlocks everything. The Torah gives us the antidote in the very same verse that warns us of the base thought. It says, guard yourself, which in Hebrew is hishamer lecha. This is not about positive thinking. This is about spiritual warfare. You must become a guardian of your own consciousness. Every thought that enters your mind must pass through an inspection. Is this thought raising me or lowering me? Is it opening my gate or closing it? The Kabbalists teach a practice called hishtavut, equanimity or divine indifference. It means you train yourself to look at money, success, wealth, and poverty with the same calm, knowing that all is temporary and all is a gift from the infinite source. This neutralizes the base thought. It removes the emotional charge that creates the block. And then you activate emunah, a certainty beyond belief, not hope, not wishful thinking, but an unshakable knowing that abundance is your birthright, your spiritual DNA, your divine inheritance. When you live in emunah, the gate of blessings doesn't just open, it explodes wide. The man who lost everything. Let me tell you about David, a successful businessman in New York, real estate empire, luxury cars, penthouse views. But inside, David carried a secret-based thought. I don't really deserve this. One day it will all be taken away. And it was. The market crashed. His investments failed. Within 18 months, David lost $47 million. He sat in my study, broken, asking why God had punished him. I looked into his eyes and said, God didn't take it. Your base thought did. You've been expecting this loss your entire life. I taught him the practice of Hishamer Lecha. Every morning, for 30 days, David would sit in silence and guard his thoughts like a warrior guards a gate. Every negative thought about money, he would catch it and replace it with Ani Bratzon Elyon. I am in divine favor. 30 days, that's all it took. An investor he hadn't spoken to in years called him with an opportunity. A lawsuit he thought he'd lost suddenly settled in his favor. Within 90 days, David had recovered $12 million. Within a year, he surpassed his previous wealth. But more importantly, he was free. The base thought was gone. The gate was open. The woman who lived in lack, Sarah, came to me with tears streaming down her face. Single mother, working 3 jobs, barely keeping her family fed. She said, Rabbi, I pray every day. I'm a good person. Why does God ignore me? I asked her one question. When you look at wealthy people, what do you feel? She hesitated, then whispered, I hate them. They have everything and I have nothing. It's not fair. There it was. Kina, the evil eye of envy. Her base thought wasn't just, I am poor. It was, they are stealing my share. I taught her a radical practice from the Zohar. Every time she saw someone wealthy, she had to say out loud, Baruch Hashem, may their blessings multiply. Even if she didn't mean it, even if it hurt, she had to rewire her consciousness. For 2 weeks, Sarah hated this practice. It felt like torture, but she trusted me and continued. Then something shifted. The envy began to dissolve. She started feeling genuine happiness for others' success. And that's when the miracles started. A friend offered her a partnership in a business. A relative she hadn't spoken to in years left her an inheritance. Her eldest daughter received a full scholarship. Within 6 months, Sarah quit 2 of her jobs. Within a year, she owned her own home. The gate of blessings opened because she stopped blocking it with judgment. The child who changed a family's destiny. Young Eli was only 11 years old when his father lost his job. The family was on the edge of eviction. Despair filled their home like a dark cloud. One night, Eli came to me after synagogue and asked, Rabbi, can a child pray for money? I knelt down and looked into his pure eyes. Eli, let me teach you a secret. You don't pray for money. You pray from abundance. You thank God for wealth before you see it. I taught this child the ancient practice of Hoda'ah Be'emunah, gratitude and faith. Every night before bed, Eli would stand by his window, look at the stars and say, Thank you, Hashem, for the wealth that is already on its way to our family. Thank you for opening the gates. Thank you for remembering us. His parents thought it was sweet, but they didn't believe it would change anything. 40 days passed, then Eli's father received a call. A company he'd interviewed with months ago suddenly had an opening. Not just any job, a position that paid 3 times his previous salary. They wanted him to start immediately, but that's not the end. 6 months later, Eli's mother started a small online business from their kitchen. It grew so fast she couldn't keep up with orders. Today, that family lives in abundance, and it all started with a child who refused to accept the base thought of lack. He guarded the gate, and heaven responded. But Rabbi, I don't know Hebrew. How can I access this wisdom? Listen closely. The Hebrew words are vehicles, not requirements. The ancient language carries frequency and power, yes, but the divine does not demand you speak Hebrew to receive blessings. What matters is the consciousness behind the practice. When I teach you to say Ani Bratzon Elyon, you can say it in English. I am in divine favor. The universe hears your intention, not your pronunciation. The gate of blessings responds to the purity of your heart, not the perfection of your accent. Start where you are. Use the language you know. The transformation comes from guarding your thoughts and elevating your consciousness. That's the real work. What if I've already failed so many times? What if it's too late? This is Yush speaking. This is the base thought trying to keep you trapped. Let me tell you something that will change everything. In the divine realm, there is no too late. There is only now. The Talmud teaches, 1 hour of repentance and good deeds in this world is worth more than all of the world to come. Do you understand what this means? 1 moment of true transformation can erase years of blocks. 1 decision to guard your thoughts can open gates that have been closed for decades. Abraham didn't receive his promise until he was 75 years old. Moses didn't lead the Exodus until he was 80. The divine timeline is not your timeline. Your past failures are not evidence of your destiny. They are preparation for your breakthrough. The gate doesn't care how many times you've knocked before. It only cares if you're knocking with the right consciousness now. I'm not spiritual enough. I've made too many mistakes. This breaks my heart because it's the lie that keeps so many people in bondage. You think spirituality is about perfection? You think the divine only blesses the righteous? King David, the greatest king of Israel, committed adultery and murder, yet he wrote the Psalms and became the ancestor of the Messiah. Why? Because he knew how to return. He knew how to transform his mistakes into wisdom. The gate of blessings doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be honest, to admit your base thoughts, to face your blocks, to commit to guarding your consciousness. Your mistakes are not disqualifications. They are your curriculum. They've taught you empathy, humility, and hunger for transformation. Those are the exact qualities that open the gate. Start today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. The divine is waiting for you now, exactly as you are. Now I'm going to give you something I rarely teach. This is the advanced level, the secret within the secret. The Torah contains a hidden code called gematria, the numerical value of Hebrew letters. The word for blessing, bracha, has a numerical value of 222. The word for wealth, asher, has a value of 501. But here's the mystery. When you add the value of emunah, faith equals 102, to todah, gratitude equals 419, you get 521. This is 20 points higher than asher. What does this mean? That faith plus gratitude creates a frequency that transcends mere wealth. It opens access to ravach, divine spaciousness and expansion that goes beyond money into total life abundance. This is why the wealthiest billionaires I've counseled all share one trait. They live in a constant state of grateful faith, not just when things are good. Always. They've trained their consciousness to see every moment, even challenges, as part of the divine flow of abundance. Here's the practice. For the next 40 days, before you open your eyes each morning, say this: Mode ani lefaneka, melech chai v'kayam. I give thanks before you, living and eternal King. Then add, today I choose faith. Today I choose gratitude. Today I am in the flow of divine abundance. This simple practice will rewire your brain, recalibrate your frequency, and unlock levels of prosperity you didn't know existed. Here is your assignment, your covenant with transformation. For the next 30 days, you will become a guardian of your thoughts. Every morning, within 5 minutes of waking, you will sit in silence and declare, I guard my consciousness today. I reject all base thoughts about money, success, and worthiness. I open the gate of blessings through faith and gratitude. I am in divine favor. Abundance is my birthright. Wealth flows to me now. Throughout the day, every time you catch a negative thought about money, and you will catch many, stop immediately. Don't judge yourself. Simply say, I release this block. I choose abundance instead. Before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for related to prosperity. Even if it's as simple as, I had food today, or I saw someone successful and felt inspired. Train your mind to see abundance everywhere. Do this for 30 days without missing a single day. Don't underestimate the power of consistency. The ancient rabbis knew that 30 days creates a chazaka, a permanent habit that transforms your spiritual DNA. At the end of 30 days, you will not be the same person. The base thought will be dissolved, the gate will be open, and your life will begin to reflect the abundance you've been claiming. My dear child of the divine, as we close this sacred teaching, I want you to feel the weight of this moment. You were meant to be here. Your soul called out for this wisdom, and heaven answered. The fact that you've stayed with me until these final words proves that you are ready. The gate of blessings is not some distant portal in the sky. It lives within you. Right now, as I speak these words, that gate is beginning to creak open. Can you feel it? The shift in your chest, the lightness in your spirit. That's the presence of divine favor descending upon your life. I bless you now with the ancient blessing of the Kohanim. May the Lord bless you and guard you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he turn his face toward you and grant you peace. I bless your hands to create wealth with integrity. I bless your mind to hold only thoughts of abundance and possibility. I bless your home to become a sanctuary of prosperity. I bless your children to inherit your wisdom and multiply it sevenfold. The blocks are broken, the chains are shattered, the gate stands wide open. Walk through it with your head held high. You are a child of the King of Kings. Abundance is not a privilege you must earn. It is your divine inheritance. Go now, guard your thoughts, open your heart, receive your blessings. Shalom, peace, prosperity, abundance, and so it is.